Hello everyone, Kurt the Good Times Card Collector here for a contest video for Dustin and Blake. This is 500 subs for them, and so doing a giveaway, and so here's my video. They wanted a video of my Mount Sportsmore. I'm not sure if they mentioned it or not, but I'm only going to do 4. I'm not sure if they mentioned if they wanted us to do more than 4 in the video or not. They say anything specifically, but I think I'm only going to do 4. So these are going to be my 4 sports figures that I feel like made a big impact in their sport for my Mount Sportsmore. So here is my Mount Rushmore. It is very blank and plain and just plain rock right now, but we're going to add our 4 sports figures. So our first figure is Michael Vick with the Atlanta Falcons, and then with the, I think he was with the Eagles. Michael Vick, I feel like, changed football a lot just with his ability to run. It made the Wildcat and inspired the run-first quarterback. I know Randall Cunningham, ran a lot too, and there were a lot of a lot of quarterbacks before him that did run, but I feel like he was the first quarterback to really bring it into the NFL mainstream and start having offenses, design plays around the quarterback running, not necessarily just a scrambling quarterback, but actually running plays and using their feet as a weapon and really causing havoc with NFL defenses. And I think he was the first one to be really successful, have a lot of media attention and attention within the sport for being able to run as a quarterback and having that be a threat. So he is my first person. The next athlete on my Mount Sportsmore is Mike Tyson for boxing. I'm just realizing now that I do my list, that my first couple picks are a little bit on the controversial side with old Vic and stuff that happened with him and Mike Tyson, but to be honest, I didn't even factor any of that other stuff in. I just thought about their contribution to sport. So Mike Tyson, in the late 80s, early 90s boxing, before Mike Tyson, I feel like there wasn't a lot of mainstream boxing. They would show these clips of Tyson just knocking fools out just in like 10 seconds or whatever, 16 seconds and all this stuff. And it created a lot of hype, for people that weren't even boxing fans. We have Nintendo, Punch-Out, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. That was one of the ways I even got, recognized Mike Tyson's from a game, and just his ability to knock people out was a sensation around the nation. Oh, it rhymes. And so I think that was a big influence in getting people behind boxing and having it be more of a not a 10-round technical draw, but knocking people out, and I feel like it brought life back into the sport, since Muhammad Ali and back in the day when they were really popular. I think it had a lull for a while, and then Mike Tyson kind of brought things back, and I think he brought a lot of attention to the sport, and that's why he is the next next athlete on my Mount Sportsmore. My third athlete is, because I can't leave him off the list, of course, Mr. Ken Griffey Jr. Griffey, I feel like Griffey was a very big influence in baseball, not just with stats and all that, but I think he brought a lot of fun to the game. I feel like he brought a lot of looseness, and his nickname was the Kid, athletic ability, but just, baseball, a lot of baseball is unwritten rules and, umpires and managers and conflict and the call and a lot of, sliding into the base with your spikes up, and there was a lot of that in running over catchers, and there's a lot of that in baseball, and I feel like, from what I know of baseball, like through the 70s and 80s, a lot of that was kind of how baseball was. It was, gritty and just very serious. And I feel like he really lightened up baseball when he came into the league, and I feel like his personality and the way he plays just made baseball, more. I feel he made more of a connection to younger fans for baseball, and just made the sport fun. And he made it fun to watch, and he made the home run chases and all the records, and he was just a big part of all that resurgence in baseball. And I feel like he was a very big part. I mean, he's a very big part probably why I'm a baseball fan now and still a baseball fan is, you know, all those years with the Mariners when him and A-Rod and all them were playing, and I became a fan, and that hasn't gone away just because he went away, but he was able to spark that interest in me just by his presence in the game. So that's why he is my third athlete on my Mount Sportsmore. My final athlete is the George Washington of our Mount Sportsmore here, and that athlete I feel like has to be Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, you know, besides just in game, he changed the culture of sports and changed branding and I mean, you know, the Nike and Air Jordan and the Jordan branding athletes. Jordan was like the first one to start, you know, I feel like start the branding of athletes, where athletes could be, you know, a culture, and they could be a symbol of something more than just what they do on the field, but, you know, at home as a fan, you could be part of that culture, be part of that athlete's like crew or group, or, you know, part of, you feel like you're part of, you know, on the right of the train, you know, with the athlete, I guess. I don't know, that's kind of weird saying, but so Jordan and branding of athletes, I think he was the first one that started the branding of athletes, and now obviously it's a huge thing with athlete branding and shoes and, you know, the jerseys and all this. He was the first one to get it started and to create a brand out of, you know, playing sports. I mean, you play basketball, but he was able to transcend that into cultural and, you know, business, and making a brand of himself. And I feel like that's why he was very influential athlete, just basically on being able to brand himself and be able to create that branding for the athletes of the future, which they have definitely taken advantage of now. So that's why he is my final athlete on my Mount Sportsmore. Thanks for watching, and good luck, and congratulations, Dustin and Blake.